Queen Elizabeth just lawyered up. And needless to say, Buckingham Palace is about to be shook. The royal family's recent affairs over the past few years have been all but drama-free. And when Meghan and Harry decided that enough was enough with the monarchy, none of us knew what to think. There were a lot of events that happened last year and a lot of claims that were made, so it's hard to keep track of where the royal family stands with Harry and Meghan. But seeing as how Harry is set to release a memoir next year detailing his life experiences growing up in the royal family, you can bet there's about to be quite a shift where the family dynamics are concerned.
28 to probably 32 was a nightmare time in my life.
Okay, honestly, where do we even start? The media has been buzzing about Meghan and Harry ever since they started dating back in 2016, and it hasn't necessarily been great news all around for them. While the two were undeniably in love, there were a lot of unnecessary comments being made about the couple, Meghan specifically. For what, you ask? Your guess is as good as ours. And while Meghan tried to be strong, there were signs that the pressure she was under was affecting her mental health.
My British friend said to me, "I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it because the British tabloids will destroy your life."
The couple even went as far as to sue 3 different British news outlets for the harm they caused their family with their harassment. And with criticism from news outlets as well as issues behind closed doors, there's only so much a person can take before deciding to lay everything out on the table. And that's exactly what Meghan and Harry did in their 2021 CBS interview with Oprah Winfrey. It couldn't have sat too well with the Queen, however, seeing as how she's recently hired a legal team now that Harry's set to release a new book next year. Don't you worry, we'll get into that later. For those who may not know or remember, Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah in March, over a year after the initial announcement that they'd be permanently taking a step back from their royal duties, and they came with the receipts. The couple mentioned that they'd left their royal obligations due to a lack of support and understanding, and the statements made during the interview really brought to light a lot of issues that the couple had been dealing with behind the scenes. For starters, their family wasn't given protection and security, even though they were led to believe that they would be protected. Harry also mentioned that a big reason he and Meghan left was because they needed a breather, seeing the similarities between his wife and his late mother, Princess Diana. He stated, "My biggest concern was history repeating itself. What I was seeing was history repeating itself." He also noted that with race and social media added, it had the potential to get scary. "We really got an understanding of how she felt about all of the unfair treatment when she confirmed during the interview that she'd suffered from thoughts of self-harm. There were claims made about the brief Kate Middleton-Meghan Markle drama, Harry's relationship with his father, Prince Charles, as well as conversations that were had about their son, Archie, and how dark his skin color would be, among other things.
And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Yeah, it was a whole mess. A mess they shouldn't have ever had to experience, no less. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. A few months after the interview, Harry was featured on the Armchair Expert podcast and spoke about his upbringing in the royal family and said it was a mix of being in the Truman Show and being in the zoo. And that's fair, but we can't imagine Prince Charles was too happy to hear that. And a couple months later, a new chapter for the book Finding Freedom was published. The book was a 2020 biography of the Duke and Duchess and even included contributions from Meghan herself via a third-party source. According to the new chapter, the source stated, "Months later and little accountability has been taken. How can you move forward with that?" The Queen, as you could imagine, was less than impressed. There were some members of the family, such as Kate and William, who, according to a source via Us Weekly, knew that there were some issues going on behind closed doors, but not the extent of those issues. However, he and Harry haven't been on speaking terms since the interview, so that may be a little up in the air. Some members, like Prince Charles and Prince Edward, had nothing to say, though we could see why Prince Charles wouldn't have much to say. And then there were people like Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, who had, well, everything to say.
"I don't like to say it, but I gotta say it."
The Queen released a statement via Buckingham Palace that read, "The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much-loved family members." And yes, this is the quote that the new Finding Freedom chapter was talking about. So I guess you could say that the royal family had mixed reviews of the claims made by Meghan and Harry. And though Harry and his grandmother have had a loving relationship, it wouldn't be uncommon for her to feel hurt by accusations against the royal family, and that's sure to affect their relationship in the future. But that wouldn't be the last of it. The couple had been through so much and had been silenced for so long that Harry decided to write it out himself. In July, Harry and his publishing company, Penguin Random House, announced that he'd be writing a memoir that's set to be released in 2022. According to the book's press release, the memoir will tell the definitive account of the experiences, adventures, losses, and life lessons that have helped shape him. Harry also mentioned in a statement about his book, "I'm writing this not as the prince I was born, but as the man I have become. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to share what I've learned over the course of my life so far, and excited for people to read a first-hand account of my life that's accurate and wholly truthful." And to a royal monarch who's had her entire family's morals called into question after Meghan and Harry's interview, accurate and wholly truthful could mean a lot of things, like the royal family facing even more heat if Harry's memoir shares too much of his life experiences, especially if the American public's response muddies the water that is the Queen's reputation. So, what did the Queen do? She got herself some insurance, that's what, in the form of a legal team. One of her team's objectives is to meet with Penguin Random House to distribute warning letters, as his memoir may reveal potentially painful details about life in the royal family. According to The Sun, a source stated, "There is a limit to how much will be accepted, and the Queen and royal family can only be pushed so far. They're getting lawyered up. Harry and Meghan will be made aware, and no, repeated attacks will not be tolerated." Now, I don't know about you, but those sound like fighting words to me. And while the Queen is gearing up with her legal team, Prince Charles and Prince William have been feeling the heat. A source from Us Weekly stated, "The royal family is shaken up about the book. Prince Charles and Prince William are particularly concerned about what Harry will reveal. They haven't received a copy yet and don't know what to expect. It's making them nervous." While Meghan and Harry have been able to open up about the issues they've had in the royal family, and while they've taken strides to gain their independence and live their own lives, some aspects of their life have seemed to go downhill since distancing themselves from the monarchy. Relatives have become distant, they no longer have security or protection, the British media has been having a field day with the stories about their lives, and it's hard to tell if Meghan and Harry are even on speaking terms with the Queen, or if she's chosen to side more with Prince William after everything that's happened. And only time will tell how their children may be affected by everything. Harry's been open about his desire to break the cycle of how he's been taught to go about parenting from his father, and we're sure he'll do whatever it takes to protect his children. But growing up away from their cousins and members of the royal family may be difficult, not to mention their relationship with their great-grandmother might be negatively affected. But at the same time, Meghan and Harry are also teaching their children to stand up for themselves, to be independent, and to be happy on their own terms.
So when Harry's dad becomes king, automatically Archie and our next baby would become prince or princess.
What do you think of Harry's upcoming memoir? How do you think the Queen will react? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Thing Celebrity for more videos just like this one.